The morning sun cast golden light across New Seoul Station as Commander Hyunwoo Park stepped onto the observation deck. Below him, hundreds of ships moved in peaceful patterns through space. Some carried families moving to new worlds. Others brought alien visitors for trade and friendship. A few transported scientists heading to explore distant stars. Today was special. Today marked 3,000 years since the last human war ended. 3,000 years of peace across the galaxy. Hyunwoo smiled as he watched children press their faces against the viewing windows. They pointed excitedly at the colorful alien ships docking nearby. To them, the galaxy was a playground filled with friends they had not met yet. "Commander Park," called Dr. Yoonji Kim as she approached. Her voice carried the excitement of someone who loved her work. "The festival preparations are going perfectly. We have delegates from all 23 allied species coming to celebrate with us." Yoonji ran the cultural exchange program. Her job was helping different species understand each other. She spoke 12 alien languages and could explain why the blue-skinned Ketra people only talked in songs or why the rock-like Morden never sat down during meetings. "Any problems with the arrangements?" Hyunwoo asked. "Only good ones," Yoonji laughed. "The Ketra delegation wants to perform their peace symphony. It is supposed to last 6 hours, but they are so excited they might go longer. And the Morden brought gifts of rare crystals for everyone." Hyunwoo nodded. After 3,000 years, humanity had learned that most problems in the galaxy came from misunderstandings. When species fought, it was usually because they did not understand each other's customs. The solution was always more communication, more friendship, more shared experiences. In the distance, Admiral Dong-min Lee walked through the station's museum section. The old man looked tired, as he always did. Being in charge of humanity's military was not an exciting job anymore. The museum fleet was what people called it now. Ancient warships turned into educational displays and emergency rescue vessels. Admiral Lee looked sad again, Yoonji observed. "I think he misses having a real purpose." "He has a purpose," Hyunwoo replied. "He keeps our history alive. Someone needs to remember what war was like, so we never repeat those mistakes." The museum fleet consisted of 12 ships. Huge vessels that once carried weapons now carried medical supplies and rescue equipment. Their job was helping during natural disasters, asteroid impacts, or when colonies needed emergency supplies. The crews trained constantly, but for saving lives, not taking them. Down in the museum, Admiral Lee stopped in front of an ancient display. Behind the glass sat weapons from Earth's violent past: swords, guns, missiles, and other tools designed to hurt people. Children often asked him what they were for. He would explain carefully, watching their faces change from curiosity to confusion to sadness. "Why would people want to hurt each other?" a young girl named Sun-hee had asked last week. "They were afraid," Lee had answered. "They thought the only way to be safe was to be stronger than everyone else. They did not understand that being friends was much better than being feared." The festival planning continued around the station. Vendors set up booths selling foods from dozens of worlds. Artists created sculptures celebrating peace. Musicians practiced songs in languages that did not exist 3,000 years ago. Jae-young Choi, the station's news anchor, prepared her evening broadcast. She planned to interview families whose ancestors had lived through the last war. Their stories would remind everyone how far humanity had come. "We were so primitive then," she would say during the broadcast. "We actually believed that violence could solve problems. Can you imagine?" The communication center suddenly came alive with activity. Multiple screens showed incoming signals from deep space. The technician on duty, a young man named Woo Bin, frowned at his instruments. "Commander Park to the communications center, please," his voice echoed through the station. Hyunwoo arrived quickly, followed by Yoonji and several other senior staff members. Admiral Lee heard the announcement and came up from the museum. "What do we have, Woo Bin?" Hyunwoo asked. "A signal from outside our known space, sir. It is coming from the Andromeda Spiral. The translation matrix is working on it now." They waited as the computers processed the alien language. The voice that emerged was deep and rough, speaking words that made no sense to the humans listening. "People of the weak human worlds," the voice said. "We are the Veltar Empire. We have watched you spread across the galaxy like a disease. Your softness disgusts us. Your peace makes you weak. We declare war upon all human worlds. Surrender now or face destruction. We come to teach you the true way of strength through conquest." The communication center fell silent. Then Wu Bian started laughing. "War?" he said between laughs. "Did they really say war? Who even remembers what that means?" Yunji looked confused. This must be a translation error. Maybe their greeting customs involve aggressive language. Some species do that. Admiral Li did not laugh. His face was serious as he listened to the message again. "No translation error," he said quietly. "I know what war means. This species wants to fight us." "But why?" Hyunwoo asked. "What could they possibly gain from fighting? We would be happy to trade with them, share technology, learn from each other." "They do not understand our ways," Yunji said thoughtfully. "They come from a culture that still believes in violence. We should send a peaceful response. Explain how much better cooperation is than fighting." Admiral Li shook his head. "You can send your peaceful message, but I need to check our emergency protocols. It has been 3,000 years since anyone threatened humanity. I am not sure we even remember how to defend ourselves." As the news of the alien message spread through the station, people reacted with curiosity rather than fear. Parents explained to children what war meant, using simple terms. Teachers planned lessons about ancient history. Comedians started writing jokes about the confused aliens. The Festival of Peace continued its preparations. The Veltar message became just another interesting topic of conversation. Most humans assumed the aliens would understand their mistake. Once proper communication was established, nobody suspected that in the dark between the stars, a massive fleet was already moving toward human space. The Veltar had studied humanity for years. They saw the peaceful colonies, the unarmed ships, the focus on culture and science instead of military might. To the Veltar, humanity looked like easy prey. They had no idea what 3,000 years of peace had actually created. 3 days after the first message, the Veltar broadcast their war declaration across every human world. The transmission reached 847 star systems simultaneously, interrupting regular programming with their threatening words. Jae-young Choi was hosting her morning news show when the signal came through. Her usual smile grew wider as she listened to the alien demands for immediate surrender. "Well, this is certainly interesting," she told her viewers after the message ended. "It seems we have encountered a species that still practices something called warfare." For those too young to know, warfare was an ancient human custom where people fought each other instead of talking through their problems. Her co-host, Minho Park, looked equally amused. "Should we be concerned about this declaration, Jae-young?" "Not at all," she replied cheerfully. "Our cultural exchange experts are already preparing welcome packages for when these Veltar arrive. Dr. Kim believes this is simply their way of saying hello. Some species have very dramatic greeting customs. Across human space, similar reactions played out. Children asked their parents what surrender meant. Teachers added new lessons about prehistoric conflict resolution. Museums reported record attendance as families came to see displays of ancient weapons and military equipment. On the entertainment planet of New Jeju, comedian Jin Ho Kang was having the best week of his career. His routine about the angry space visitors had gone viral across the galaxy. "So these aliens want us to surrender," he said to a packed audience. "But surrender what? Our ice cream recipes? Our vacation destinations? Should I give up my favorite fishing spot?" The crowd roared with laughter. The idea of anyone wanting to fight humans seemed ridiculous. Humanity had not produced a weapon in 3,000 years. Their ships carried medical supplies, not missiles. Their soldiers were trained for disaster relief, not battle. Meanwhile, Dr. Yoonji Kim worked frantically in her office preparing first contact protocols. She had translated thousands of greeting customs over the years. Some involved loud shouting, others required specific gifts, and a few demanded elaborate ceremonies. The Veltar's war declaration was just another cultural puzzle to solve. Their society must value displays of strength, she explained to her assistant, So Young Han. Many warrior cultures use aggressive language to show respect. We need to respond appropriately. So Young nodded thoughtfully. Should we prepare combat demonstrations? Some species enjoy mock battles as entertainment. Excellent idea, Yunji said. We can show them historical reenactments. The museum has perfect replicas of ancient weapons. It will help them feel comfortable. Cultural anthropologist So Young Han spent her days studying alien customs. She found the Veltar fascinating. A species that still practiced warfare was like discovering living dinosaurs. Their society had apparently never evolved beyond primitive conflict resolution. They probably do not understand modern technology, she wrote in her report. Their threats to destroy our world suggest they have not learned about defensive shields or automated repair systems. We should be patient with their limited understanding. The response from human worlds was overwhelmingly positive. Colonies began preparing welcome festivals for their new visitors. Children drew pictures of what they thought warrior aliens might look like. Artists designed cultural exchange programs featuring ancient Earth history. Admiral Lee watched the preparations with growing unease. Unlike everyone else, he understood exactly what the Veltar were threatening. His museum ships had detailed records of what warfare actually involved. Real warfare, with real weapons designed to kill real people. They are not joking, he told Commander Hyunwoo during an emergency meeting. This species genuinely wants to attack us. But why? Hyunwoo asked. What could they possibly gain? We have offered them friendship, trade agreements, cultural exchange programs. Our economists have prepared excellent deals for mutual benefit. Some species see cooperation as weakness, Lee replied grimly. They believe the strong should rule the weak. In their minds, our peaceful nature makes us targets. That is terrible, said Dr. Kim, who had joined the meeting. How do we help them understand that violence is not necessary? They must have trauma in their past that makes them afraid of peace. Admiral Lee stared at her. Doctor, they are not afraid of peace. They want war. They want to hurt us. But that makes no sense, she protested. Hurting us would not benefit them in any way. There must be some misunderstanding. On social media platforms across human space, the Veltar Declaration became a sensation. Memes featuring angry aliens spread faster than news reports. Comedy shows created skits about confused warrior species discovering modern civilization. Children's programs added educational segments explaining why ancient people used to fight. The most popular meme showed a cartoon alien screaming, "Surrender," at a human who replied, "Sure, here is a friendship bracelet." Restaurants began offering warrior specials featuring foods from cultures that historically valued military strength. Gift shops sold toy weapons for children who wanted to understand what their ancestors had used. Virtual reality programs let people experience ancient battles as educational entertainment. Meanwhile, the Veltar fleet moved steadily toward human space. High Warlord Nextar reviewed intelligence reports about human defenses. The data confused him. Where were the fortress worlds? Where were the military shipyards? Where were the weapons? These humans are either very clever or very stupid, he told his war council. Our scouts report no military installations, no weapons factories, no defense fleets. Either they are hiding their strength, or they truly are defenseless. Perhaps they trust their alien allies for protection, suggested General Koltar. Many weak species survive by serving stronger ones. No, Nextar replied. Our intelligence shows the humans as leaders in their alliances. Other species look to them for guidance, yet they show no sign of military power. The Veltar had studied warfare for centuries. They understood fortifications, weapons, and military strategy. But they could not understand a civilization that had simply stopped fighting. In their experience, peace was temporary. War was natural. Strength through conquest was the only truth. Back on New Sol Station, the Festival of Peace continued its preparations. Alien delegates arrived daily, excited to meet the legendary humans who had created galactic harmony. The Veltar Declaration had become a minor curiosity, like studying an extinct language or ancient art form. Only Admiral Lee felt the approaching storm. His museum ships began conducting historical exercises, practice drills based on ancient military procedures. His crews thought they were preparing educational demonstrations for the Veltar visitors. The galaxy watched and waited, expecting another successful first contact. Humanity had never failed to make friends with a new species. Their record of peaceful integration was perfect. Most people assumed the Veltar would soon realize their mistake and join the community of civilized worlds. Nobody imagined that some species might prefer war to peace, conquest to cooperation, fear to friendship. Nobody except one old admiral, who remembered what his ancestors had been capable of when pushed too far. The attack on New Busan came without warning. Governor Wu Jin-song was reviewing agricultural reports when the first Veltar ships appeared in orbit. Their weapons began firing immediately, targeting the colony's main buildings and infrastructure. Wu Jin watched the energy beams strike the city through his office window. The impacts created bright flashes and small explosions. Then nothing happened. Emergency Coordinator Lim to Governor Song, came a calm voice over the communication system. We are experiencing what appears to be a moderate seismic event. Initiating standard evacuation protocols. Ne Young Lim had managed emergency responses for 15 years. Stellar storms, asteroid impacts, volcanic eruptions. She had seen everything. The current situation registered as unusual but not particularly dangerous. The energy readings were consistent with a small solar flare. Acknowledged, Wu Jin replied. Casualty reports? None so far, sir. Some minor structural vibrations in Sectors 7 and 12. The automated systems are handling repairs. Estimated completion time is 6 hours. Through his window, Wu Jin could see the alien ships firing continuously. Their weapons lit up the sky with impressive displays of light and energy. It looked exactly like the fireworks show they had planned for the Peace Festival. Should we contact the aliens? He asked Na Young. They might not realize they are interfering with civilian areas. Already attempted, sir. They are not responding to our communication requests. Dr. Kim suggests they might be conducting some sort of cultural demonstration. The evacuation proceeded with typical human efficiency. Families calmly gathered personal belongings and moved to designated safety areas. Children pointed excitedly at the pretty lights in the sky. Teachers used the opportunity to explain different types of energy phenomena. Engineer Taiho Yu was inspecting one of the impact sites when he noticed something strange. The alien weapon had struck the wall of a school building. The energy blast had left a small black mark about the size of his hand. That is odd, he muttered, running calculations on his tablet. The energy output should have been much higher. Taiho had designed building materials for 3 decades. Human structures were built to withstand incredible stresses. Stellar radiation, gravitational fluctuations, extreme temperature changes. Colonies had to survive anything the universe could throw at them. He examined the weapon impact more carefully. The alien energy beam had been absorbed by the building's outer shell. The wall's molecular structure had barely registered the attack. It was like trying to damage a mountain with a flashlight. Coordinator Lim, he called over his communicator. These weapon strikes are not causing significant damage. Our standard construction materials are handling them easily. Understood, Na Young replied. Continue monitoring structural integrity. Let me know if you detect any real threats. Above the colony, High Warlord Nextar stared at his tactical displays in confusion. His ships had been firing for 2 hours. They had targeted every major structure in the human settlement. Yet damage reports showed minimal impact. Status report, he barked at his weapons officer. All systems functioning normally, Warlord. Weapons operating at maximum efficiency. But the human structures are not responding as expected. What do you mean not responding? Sir, our weapons should have leveled their city by now. Instead, we are seeing minimal surface damage. It is as if we are attacking a fortress, not a civilian colony. Nextar reviewed the intelligence data again. New Busan was described as a peaceful agricultural world. The humans grew food there and studied plant biology. There should be no military defenses, No hardened structures, no advanced materials. Increase. Power to all weapons, he ordered. Show these humans the true meaning of Veltar strength. The attack intensified. More ships joined the bombardment. Energy weapons fired continuously. The sky above New Busan became a light show of destruction that should have reduced the colony to ash. Instead, the evacuation continued at a leisurely pace. Children asked their parents why the aliens were making so much noise. Adults wondered if this was some sort of artistic performance. The emergency teams treated it like a routine weather event. In the colony's communication center, technician Min Seo worked to establish contact with the alien ships. She assumed there had been some terrible misunderstanding. Perhaps the Veltar were trying to help with something and did not realize they were causing inconvenience. "Unknown vessels, this is New Busan Colony," she broadcast. "We appreciate your light show, but you are interfering with our daily operations. Please respond so we can coordinate better." The Veltar received the message and translated it. The human words made no sense. Light show? Daily operations? Where was the panic? Where were the pleas for mercy? Where was the fear? General Koltar approached his warlord with troubling news. "Sir, our ground forces report similar problems. Their personal weapons are having no effect on human equipment or structures. One team fired directly at a human vehicle for 10 minutes. The humans inside waved at them through the window." Waved at them? "Yes, sir. Our soldiers believe the humans thought they were being friendly. On the surface, Farmer Sungmin was indeed waving at the strange aliens shooting at his harvester. He had never seen anything like them before. They looked like large insects wearing metal armor. Their weapons made interesting clicking sounds as they fired. "Hey there," he called out to them. "Welcome to New Busan. You should visit the cultural center when you are done with your demonstration. We have great food." The Veltar soldiers fired until their weapons overheated. The human vehicle showed no damage. The human inside it seemed genuinely pleased to meet them. This was not how warfare was supposed to work. Back on the command ship, Nextar faced a problem he had never encountered. His fleet was failing to defeat a peaceful farming colony. His most powerful weapons were being ignored by civilian structures. His soldiers could not damage civilian vehicles. "Perhaps the humans have some sort of shield technology," suggested another officer. "Invisible defenses that protect their worlds." "Then where are the generators?" Nextar demanded. "Where are the power sources? Our sensors detect no military technology anywhere." What the Veltar did not understand was that human technology had evolved for peace, not war. 3,000 years of building colonies in hostile environments had created materials that could withstand anything. Solar radiation, cosmic storms, gravitational stress, human structures were designed to survive the universe itself. Veltar, weapons designed to destroy other military equipment, were completely ineffective against materials built to resist stellar phenomena. It was like trying to sink a battleship with stones. The evacuation of New Busan completed successfully. All residents were safely relocated to temporary shelters in the hills surrounding the city. Emergency teams began assessment procedures to determine when normal operations could resume. Governor Wu Jin filed his incident report with typical bureaucratic efficiency. Colony experienced minor disruption due to unscheduled alien activities. No casualties reported. Infrastructure damage minimal. Recommend cultural exchange protocols for future alien demonstrations. High Warlord Nextar retreated his fleet to a safe distance. His first attack on humanity had failed completely. Worse, the humans did not even seem to realize they had been attacked. They treated his display of Veltar military might like an interesting cultural event. The reality was beginning to dawn on both sides. The Veltar were discovering that their weapons could not hurt human civilians. The humans were slowly understanding that the aliens had actually been trying to harm them. The misunderstanding was ending. The real conflict was about to begin. The mood across human space began to change after the fifth Veltar attack. What started as amusement gradually shifted to confusion, then concern, and finally to something humanity had not felt in 3,000 years. Anger. Dr. Myung-Soo Choi was humanity's leading historian of ancient warfare. His small office at the Galactic University had become the center of frantic research as governments across human space tried to understand what they were facing. "This is not a greeting custom," he explained to the Emergency Council via hologram. "The Veltar are genuinely attempting to cause harm. They want to kill humans and destroy our colonies." The council members looked uncomfortable. The concept was so alien to modern human thinking that many still struggled to accept it. "But why?" asked Councillor Haewon from the Centauri colonies. "What could they possibly gain from hurting us? We have offered them everything: trade, technology, friendship, cultural exchange." "They gain dominance," Myung-Soo replied grimly. "In their society, strength comes from conquering others. They see our peaceful nature as weakness to be exploited." The breakthrough came when systems analyst Hye-Jin Park began studying humanity's accidental advantages. Her job was optimizing supply chains and resource distribution across the galaxy, but the Veltar attacks had made her think about human technology in new ways. "Our civilian infrastructure is essentially military grade by Veltar standards," she reported to Admiral Lee. 3,000 years of building in hostile environments has made everything incredibly durable." She showed him the analysis on her screen. "Look at these numbers. Our standard building materials can withstand stellar radiation that would melt Veltar ships. Our cargo vessels are built to carry millions of tons through gravitational anomalies. Our communication networks span the entire galaxy, with no weak points." Admiral Lee studied the data with growing interest. "What about our manufacturing capabilities?" "Extraordinary," Hye-Jin replied. "We can build anything anywhere in quantities they cannot imagine. Our automated factories can retool for any purpose within hours. And our logistics coordinator, Sung-Ho Kim, says we can move resources between star systems faster than most. Species can move them between planets." For the first time in weeks, Admiral Lee smiled. "Show me more." The real turning point came at Research Station Harmony, a small facility studying cosmic phenomena near the galactic rim. 53 scientists live there, including Dr. Bong-Soo, an expert on stellar formation, and physicist Dr. Young-Mi, who studied quantum effects in deep space. The Veltar fleet found the station isolated and defenseless. High Warlord Nextar decided to make an example. If humans would not fear his weapons, perhaps they would fear his willingness to kill their people. The attack was swift and brutal. Veltar Marines boarded the station and executed every human they found. The scientists had no weapons, no training, no way to resist. They died asking why the aliens were hurting them. When the news reached human space, something fundamental changed. Children who had been laughing at alien memes suddenly fell silent. Adults who had planned welcome festivals stared at the reports in shock. For the first time in 3 millennia, humans had to confront the reality of murder. The grief was overwhelming. But beneath the grief was something else. Something that had been dormant for so long that most humans had forgotten it existed. Rage. Commander Hyun-Woo Park stood in the emergency command center, watching reports flood in from across human space. Volunteer applications for the defense forces were crashing computer systems. Engineering teams were submitting weapon designs based on civilian technology. Mining companies were asking how their equipment could be used against alien ships. "Sir," called logistics coordinator Sung-Ho Kim, "we are receiving unusual requests from the outer colonies. They want to know if our terraforming equipment can be reconfigured for offensive purposes." Hyun-Woo looked at Admiral Lee, who was studying tactical displays with intense focus. "Admiral, it can," Lee replied without looking up. "A device that can reshape a planet's crust can certainly reshape a spaceship's hull. The question is whether we want to go down that path." Dr. Yoon-ji Kim entered the command center with tears in her eyes. She had known several of the murdered scientists personally. "They were good people," she said quietly. "They spent their lives trying to understand the universe. They never hurt anyone." "I know," Hyun-Woo replied gently. "And we will make sure their sacrifice is not forgotten." "How?" she asked. "How do we fight something we do not understand? How do we hurt people who want to hurt us?" It was Admiral Lee who answered. "We do not become like them. he said firmly. We do not start enjoying violence or seeking conquest. We simply stop them from hurting more innocent people. Across human space, a transformation was beginning. Scientists were asking dangerous questions about their research. What if gravity manipulation technology was used to crush enemy ships? What if medical nanobots were programmed to attack instead of heal? What if cargo ship engines were pushed beyond safety limits? Engineer Ji-hoon had spent his career designing mining equipment. His laser drills could cut through asteroid cores in minutes. Now he found himself wondering what they would do to alien armor. We never thought about weapons, he told his team. But our tools were already weapons. We just used them for building instead of destroying. The most disturbing discovery came from AI researcher Dr. So-jin. Human artificial intelligence had been designed for cooperation, creativity, and problem-solving. But when she asked the AI networks to analyze the Veltar threat, their responses were terrifying. They calculate optimal solutions, she reported to the council. Our AIs can design perfect military strategies, predict enemy movements, and coordinate attacks across thousands of light-years simultaneously. They are better at warfare than any human general could ever be. But they have never been used for war, protested Counselor Min-jae. No, Dr. So-jin agreed. But they understand the principles. They just apply them to different problems. Traffic management becomes fleet coordination. Resource optimization becomes logistics for war. They can adapt to anything we ask them to do. The final piece of the puzzle came from medical researcher Dr. Hae-young. Human medicine had conquered death centuries ago. Injuries that would kill any other species were minor inconveniences to humans. Diseases that destroyed civilizations were prevented by routine vaccinations. Our soldiers would be nearly impossible to kill, she explained to Admiral Lee. Our medical technology can repair almost any damage, prevent any infection, counter any poison. A human army would be effectively immortal. Admiral Lee felt a chill as he realized what humanity had accidentally become. 3,000 years of peace had created the most powerful military force in galactic history. They just had never thought to use it that way. We need to be very careful, he warned the emergency council. We have the power to end this threat completely, but we also have the power to become something terrible. We must remember who we are. Commander Hyun-woo authorized the temporary defense protocols. For the first time since the ancient wars ended, humans began to think like soldiers. The transformation was already beginning and there was no going back. In the depths of space, High Warlord Nextar reviewed reports of increasing human activity. Their ships were moving in new patterns. Their colonies were broadcasting different signals. Something had changed. He did not yet understand that he had awakened something that had been sleeping for 3,000 years. Humanity was remembering what they had once been capable of. And this time they were much more capable than before. General Soo-jin Lee had been retired for 20 years when the call came. The younger sister of Admiral Dongmin Lee, she had spent her career managing disaster relief operations across the galaxy. Now humanity needed someone who understood both logistics and leadership. I have never commanded a military force, she told the emergency council during her appointment hearing. None of us have, replied Commander Hyun-woo Park, but you have coordinated rescue operations across multiple star systems. You have managed resources under pressure. You have saved lives when everything was falling apart. This is different, Soo-jin protested. This is about taking lives, not saving them. No, said Admiral Lee firmly. This is still about saving lives. We are just saving them from the Veltar. The transformation of human society happened with frightening speed. Tech specialist Young-ho Park led teams that converted civilian technology into tools of war. Cargo ships became assault vessels. Mining equipment became weapons. Communication networks became command systems. The beautiful thing, Young-ho explained to his engineers, is that we do not need to invent anything new. We just need to use what we already have in ways we never considered. A simple cargo hauler designed to carry grain between colonies could accelerate to incredible speeds and ram straight through enemy battleships. The same magnetic containment fields that held fusion reactions could trap enemy vessels. The automated repair systems that maintained space stations could disassemble alien ships piece by piece. Meanwhile, Diplomatic Corps leader Mi Young-song prepared humanity's final communication to the Veltar Empire. Unlike previous messages offering friendship and cooperation, this one carried a different tone. To High Warlord Nextar and the Veltar Empire, the message began. You have attacked our people. You have murdered our scientists. You have chosen war over peace. We understand your choice, even if we disagree with it. We are now choosing to respond. The message continued with calm, measured words that somehow felt more threatening than any battle cry. You mistake our kindness for weakness. You see our peaceful nature as vulnerability. You have made a very serious error in judgment. High Warlord Nextar received the message aboard his flagship as the Veltar fleet prepared for their final assault on human space. Around him 1,000 ships carried the finest warriors of his empire. They had conquered dozens of species, enslaved entire civilizations, and spread Veltar dominance across multiple galaxies. The humans are finally showing fear, he told his war council. Their message acknowledges our strength. Soon they will surrender. General Koltar was less confident. Sir, our intelligence reports unusual activity in human space. Their ships are moving in new formations. Their colonies are transmitting encrypted signals. Something has changed. Fear makes them desperate, Nextar replied dismissively. They scramble uselessly, like insects before the storm. The demonstration began with a single human ship approaching, the Veltar fleet. It was an old exploration vessel called the Harmony's Dream, designed for long-range scientific missions. The ship requested permission to speak with High Warlord Nextar directly. One ship? Nextar laughed. They send one ship to face my entire fleet? This is either surrender or suicide. General Soo-Jin Lee commanded the Harmony's Dream personally. Her crew consisted of 12 volunteers, including Young Ho Park, and several engineers who understood exactly what their modified systems could accomplish. Veltar Fleet, she broadcast. This is General Lee of the Human Defense Forces. We would like to demonstrate something for you. The demonstration lasted 17 minutes. It began with the Harmony's Dream's mining laser cutting through the Veltar flagship's shields like they were made of paper. The beam, designed to slice through asteroid cores, carved precise lines in the warship's hull without damaging essential systems. That was a warning shot, General Lee announced calmly. Next, a swarm of maintenance drones emerged from the human ship. They swarmed over nearby Veltar vessels, their repair tools working in reverse. Instead of fixing damage, they systematically dismantled weapon systems, engine components, and life support equipment. Those are our standard repair units, Young Ho Park explained over the open channel. We modified their programming slightly. The third demonstration involved the ship's gravity manipulation system. Designed for navigating dangerous space phenomena, it could create localized gravitational fields. 3 Veltar cruisers suddenly found themselves pulled into a tight spiral, their hulls crumpling under forces they could not escape. We used that for asteroid mining, General Lee noted, but it was the 4th demonstration that truly horrified the Veltar. The Harmony's Dream released what appeared to be a cloud of harmless particles, the same nanobots human colonies used for environmental maintenance. The microscopic machine swarmed over a Veltar destroyer and began rearranging its molecular structure. Within minutes, the warship had been converted into a flowering garden. The metal hull now supported alien plant life. The weapon ports had become water features. The command bridge was a greenhouse filled with earth roses. We terraform planets with those, Young Ho added helpfully. Throughout the demonstration, General Lee's voice remained calm and professional. We want you to understand something important, she told the stunned Veltar fleet. Everything you have seen represents civilian technology used in ways we never intended. We have not shown you our actual military capabilities because we do not have any. We have not built weapons in 3,000 years. She paused, letting that sink in. However, we have built other things. We have built tools that can reshape matter at the molecular level. We have built engines that can move moons. We have built computers that can calculate the trajectory of every atom in a solar system. The Veltar fleet hung motionless in space, suddenly understanding the true scope of their mistake. You declared war on a civilization that had forgotten how to fight, General Lee continued. But we are very good at learning, and we are exceptionally good at solving problems. You have become a problem. High Warlord Nextar stared at his tactical displays in disbelief. One human ship had disabled or destroyed over 50 Veltar vessels using tools designed for peaceful purposes. His mighty fleet, the terror of multiple galaxies, had been reduced to a comedy show. We surrender, he transmitted weakly. Excellent choice, General Lee replied. Please prepare to receive our cultural exchange representatives. Dr. Kim has prepared information packets about human society, including pottery classes and gardening workshops. We think you will find our civilization quite interesting once you get to know us. 6 months later, the Festival of Eternal Peace resumed with new exhibits. The War Museum attracted millions of visitors who came to see the strange concept that some species still practiced. Children laughed at the primitive idea of fighting to solve problems. The Veltar delegation attended as honored guests. High Warlord Nextar, now called Cultural Ambassador Nextar, had developed an unexpected talent for flower arranging. His warriors had discovered that human recreational activities were more satisfying than conquest. We thought strength came from defeating others, he explained to a group of human children during a cultural presentation. We did not understand that true strength comes from helping others succeed. Admiral Lee stood in his museum, watching alien visitors examine the ancient human weapons. A young Veltar warrior pointed at a sword and asked what it was for. Humans used to hurt each other with these, Lee explained, but they learned that building things together was much more fun than breaking things apart. The final entry in the official record was written by Commander Hyunwoo Park. Humanity returned to peace with the same casual efficiency they brought to war. After 3,000 years, they had simply forgotten how to fail at anything. In the depths of space, other aggressive species received reports about the Veltar incident. Most decided that humanity seemed very friendly and would make excellent trading partners. A few considered challenging the peaceful humans to demonstrate their own strength. Those few were quietly advised by their neighbors to take up gardening instead. It was much safer than bothering the humans who had forgotten how to lose.